pleasure. It feels like a blessing in the space. So I'm definitely excited for it.
So, Rosehouse is it's a nursery of sorts. It's a botanica. Tell us a little bit more about what Rosehouse is in general.
We fancy ourselves a living botanica and apothecary. So what we do here is we're part plant store. We're a small part apothecary, a lot of parts botanical goods. So we try to bring plants to folks in all the forms that we interact with plants, whether it's something for beauty in the home, like a common house plant, or plants that provide emotional or spiritual support to, like teas and fresh herbs that are going to bring vitality and goodness to people's lives, to spiritual products. So plants really are multifaceted as people. And so we try to nurture that relationship by having an entry point for everybody. You like plants, we got plants. You want to do herbs, we got herbs. You want to get your energy right? We all need that in 2020. We're here for you. So,
well, and you are also very good at providing kind of how to take care of plants as well. I have a lot of plants from here, and I will message you guys on Instagram, and you'll be like, yeah, it needs more sun, it needs more whatever. So tell us a little bit more about interacting with your customers in that way.
Well, what do you want to know?
Well, I want to know, so how is it interacting with the community? I mean, that's an extra job in and of itself, is providing like a plant care system.
The folks that, the shop was founded almost 4 years ago by Lynn Till, who started this, shop, back then. And then since then, a couple of us have come on to kind of support running it. So now there are 4 partners together, and I'm lucky enough, or foolish enough, but mostly it's feeling lucky enough to be a part of that team. And so the folks that come in here, listen, we have everybody. We have, plant nerds, we have plant collectors, we have a lot of healers, naturopaths, curanderos, santeros, people like plants, and they all show up here.
And you will find them at Rosehouse.
Yeah, herbalists, everybody.
Rosehouse also does a lot of stuff with the community, a lot of different collaborations, especially being on South Broadway. So tell me more about your involvement in the Denver community.
South Broadway is a really it's a really sexy, really fly, really kind of edgy neighborhood. And so, we in the past have done a lot of art shows, so work with a lot of artists to hang their art and sell their art here. We feature products done by a lot of makers. Some folks are from Denver, some are from all over the country, some outside of the country, folks who grow plants, grow herbs, make herbal products, whether it's smoking alternative blends, candles, body products, spiritual products here. So we get to collaborate with where the community is doing with plants and nature, and so we're excited to do that one. So it happens from events like music artists tonight, where art openings, to classes that happen here. We have everything from pottery classes to art classes to having herbalists do here and show you how to make your own tincture, your remedios, whatever it is. And so we really try to see our spaces. We're a store and we sell this amazing line of products, but also too, what I like about commerce and business is that it's a way to engage community. So that happens on many fronts. So if you have a great idea, a great one, not a regular one, a great one. We definitely want to be a space, like a hub, where community comes and incubates, celebrates, and kind of conjures its future. And so, yeah.
Wonderful, and I'm so grateful that we get to collaborate with you on our season finale here of Colorful Colorado Collaborations. Yeah. You were talking about making a bath salt also for this as well. Listen.
So how this all went down, right, was I was up one night and had an idea. My guide, was like, this is this bath salt that has to happen. And so one of our other partners, I got with her, and we were at Apothecary Tinctura, where she resides, as well as being over here. We collaborated and made a bath salt, very sexy blend, a couple different roses, some bay leaf for protection, grounding, and psychic vision, as well as some other really, really yummy things. And so, the name came to us, Siren's Blessing. So we do that. 3 days later, guess who emails me? You. And so, you say we have Bianca Mikahn, and it's just kind of lined up really on some kismet kind of vibe. So it's like, we have Siren's Blessing bath salts that just got finished and formulated. And then we have La Sirene here to us. So I feel like this collaboration, this moment, the beginning of this movement, is really something that's above or outside of me and every individual involved. It really feels great. And so I wanted to create a product that was going to be good for the body and the skin, but also give and provide a kind of people have kind of like a spiritual communion of sorts. while taking care of their bodies. It's really how the best thought came along. And so we were just getting ready to launch, and then you showed up, Colorful Colorado showed up, and it just seemed like, it was above me. And so excited to be here tonight to have Bianca and Colorful Colorado bless the space and to be in alignment with TLC, a group that does really amazing work and helps to sustain change makers and visionaries in communities, is like really a part of kind of our social justice community collaboration, really ethical, kind of like those pillars are really part of the store. And they show up in the products that we do and the collaborations that we have. And so it was a no-brainer. I was saying yes before I got through the whole entire email because it just seemed like on point with everything that we do. So,
bless. And that is actually perfect. So we're going to be speaking with Neha of Colorful Colorado of TLC. So thank you so much for again letting us be in here for your collaboration. But let's check in with Neha of TLC, which is this is what we're calling our final collaboration, Transformative Leadership for Change. Hey, Neha.
Hey.
So Neha's joining us through Zoom this evening because, we're living in the COVID times still. So tell us a little bit more about TLC, what it does. This is kind of the thread that binds a lot of our collaborations this first season.
We're in the room together. Distance doesn't mean anything. We travel space and time like it's nothing. So just I'm so happy to be here with some of my favorite people in Denver. TLC, the fancy name is Transformative Leadership for Change, but the reason we picked that name is for the TLC. So we really, there was a group of women of color, directors of social justice movement building organizations here in the city, in the state, who were like, we need to come together and create like a whole different type of space that actually supports our leadership, the struggles that we were going through, that, nurtures our dreams, our visions, that creates a space where we can actually build deep relationship and community with each other. And out of that, I'll tell more of the story, but out of that was birth TLC. And it's a space for Black, Indigenous, people of color leaders in social justice movements, a lot in nonprofit organizations, but we're also breaking those silos down. So just leaders, folks who identify as leaders and visionaries in our movements, to come together and, like I said, just have a place to thrive. So many of us are constantly in survival mode. We are the folks, and these are the folks who are fighting for like every type of justice you can imagine, right? For our people and for our communities. So you name it, we're fighting for it, right? So racial justice, education justice, like trying to, end the prison industrial complex, trying to abolish police, right, and prisons, fighting for immigrant justice, paid sick leave. Let's increase the minimum wage. Let's get folks out of poverty. Let's fight for food justice. Let's have land and cooperatives and farms that are owned by people of color. Let's end voter suppression. Like I said, like you name it, we are fighting for it. And yet so many of us, even as we're fighting for our communities, we ourselves, and we were watching our peers and, our folks that were in the struggle with just burn out, right? Like cycle of people burning out. I've been through multiple burnouts myself. I know, Maurice, you've been in this work. I know you burnt out. But you're coming back in this other really powerful, beautiful way, right? Bianca's been holding it down. So much work with youth over the years, all different modalities of supporting the healing and wellness of young people. So anyway, I think we were getting a lot of pressure around, well, why are you guys failing? Why are your organizations are struggling? And what's up with leaders of color? Maybe you need to take more classes to learn how to be better executive directors. And we kind of were like, yeah, exactly. So we're just like, seriously? Like, no. Do you know why we're struggling? Because we face like institutional racism and oppression every day. we have like the biggest missions and visions in the world and carry so much of that on the most like underfunded organizations, like large white, you know, mainstream organizations get millions of dollars, and I don't even know where the money goes. Like our community doesn't really even see a dime of it, but they get more chances and more grants. And, you know, here we are like trying to save everyone and everything, right? On these like shoestring budgets. So yeah, we just really like pushed back and said, you know, we actually need, if we're really going to support our leadership, we need like a space that's like truly built by us, for us. It's not about deficits that we have. It's about creating like a really beautiful nurturing space. We wanted to give each other some TLC, right? And and just have a space where we can like heal, we can talk about the trauma that we've been through in our lives, intergenerational, that also we carry as we try to, you know, hold leadership in the community as we fight these issues. How do we create a space where we talk about solidarity, right? Like folks of color, we definitely say the words, right? Black and brown unity and solidarity, but like, can we create a space where we can really be in that like practice, right? And be in those hard conversations, those hard spaces together. You know, and how do we like vision, right? So much of the time we're put in a position where we're reacting, we're fighting against, right? All of these things, all of these oppressions. But where's the space to be like in the space of vision of what we want, and actually try to like live that and lead with that, right? And lead with abundance and not scarcity. So, you know, these are all like buzzwords everyone is using now, but like, let's try to actually create some space where we get a little break from the hustle of every day to be with each other, build sacred community, and try, you know, try to decolonize the way we run our organizations and show up in our movements, and actually lead from what our hearts truly want. So so yeah, that's TLC. That's the vision. We're in it. We're experimenting. We're trying. I was in the first cohort. Bianca was in the second cohort. We're gonna launch our third cohort of leaders next year. So our core kind of program is this year-long leadership fellowship. So folks get a stipend. We are in retreat and monthly sessions together. But that doesn't really capture the magic of what has happened in that space. So.
Well, there's so much more to it, and there's also 3 guiding principles. This is more of a holistic approach in fostering entrepreneurs and leaders in our community. So tell me a little bit more about how you foster that holistic approach and kind of think of the entire individual, the entire leader, as opposed to just spitting out, you know, recipients of, you know, some class or something like that. You're really paying attention to who these people are, as opposed to just, you know, another number or something to get a grant.
Yeah, totally. I mean, right? And I just remember for my cohort, our cohort was all executive directors of color, right? Running different social justice nonprofits. So, you know, we all walk in, we're all like sizing each other up, like, yeah, we've sat at different coalition tables and whatever, like we've worked together, some of us have worked together, but there's still like, we still had that like kind of mask on, right? And, you know, kind of had that shell on. This is my organization and this is the politics I represent. And these are the, you know, we had a fight, or, you know, on this campaign or this tactic or, you know, whatever, right? So everyone's kind of like, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to really like be myself. Like, you know, everyone still has their guard up. And, you know, over the course of our opening retreat where, you know, we really went into ritual, right? And we brought in some powerful facilitators who really bring healing and a spiritual practice, right, to our space, and created the space for us to actually go into ritual and share, right, our stories. And folks went really deep, like, you know, sharing things we've been through in our lives that some folks said like they'd never even shared with anyone else in their life, right? So in masks and see each other first and foremost as other beautiful, you know, brown and black folks in this work, in this movement, who are basically, you know, we're like all crying about our moms and, you know, like we related to each other on that level. And then to step out of that and then think about like, what does it mean to try to be in coalition together? Whole different, it opens up an opportunity for such a deeper level of collaboration and solidarity. So it's not, no, but there was, I really believe there's magic in creating space for like authentic relationship, authentic community. Again, we use these words, but I think capitalism and white supremacy and patriarchy have like disconnected us from how do we form these real communities, right? And where we can be authentic and vulnerable and build relationship from that place. So so that's the foundation. You know, it's really about healing and giving ourselves space and time to feel, and from that healing, so much deeper work and relationship can happen. So
Well, our co-founder, Celeste Martinez, went through TLC as well, and she recently stepped out, started her own business, our first collaboration, Celestial Alegría. So I know that from her experience, it was like taking that step, right? Taking out like stepping out of her comfort zone, and it seems like that was like a thing that you kind of got to do, and that seems like something that you did in helping co-create TLC. So tell me about that moment when you let go of that doubt, let go of that fear, and we're just like, we're going to do this, and we're going to create this space for these people that we want to help.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of like, I can't believe this is happening sometimes. So, yeah. So, you know, I have to like give credit to the crew of like 4 women of color who ourselves, right? We ourselves, we were in this work. We ourselves were like fighting and being set up to compete with each other, and we like got together and we wanted to like support each other. We're crying, we're laughing, but we were also like, we just want to like, we don't want to play the game the way they want us to play the game. Like we want to get together and do something really different. And so I think it's because of that solidarity of that crew of women of color in that moment. We really kind of organized, you know, and we're all organizers. So we organized the funders, we organized our allies, and I like Maurice said, like I think we were just the vessel and we were just the channel, because this space clearly needed to be birthed, and spaces like this, right, especially in these times, like we desperately need these types of nurturing, nourishing, healing, solidarity spaces. And so I think we were just the vehicle to make that happen. So I definitely say there's always divine things happening and moving through us and caught us at that moment. But, you know, there was this moment, right? We were in this meeting with funders, right? These were the funders who were saying like, what's wrong with you? Take a class or whatever, right? So, and we, the 4 of us just were like, you know what? We need to walk out of this room and we need to have a consultation. We need to have a huddle. We need to have our own little meeting. We talked about it. We came back in the room and we were like, this is what we want. We want you to take all of this money and resources that you want to give us for this other stuff. We want you to prioritize BIPOC people. We want you to invest in a program. If you're going to, you know, throw money at stuff, we want it to be something that is truly built by us and for us, and not something we think you want. And so we took that leap of faith. We like stood in our power. And they listened. You know, it was a rare moment. You know, we did have some allies who listened and trusted our leadership. And so I think I think from that point forward, it's been this thing of like standing in our power, right, and claiming what we want, claiming what we deserve, and trying to, you know, we're not, it's not about playing the game, it's about building something on our own terms. So.
Well, this final collaboration for Colorful Colorado Collaborations is the TLC collaboration. We're trying to actually raise $2,500 for TLC, which you can do here at Rosehouse, up at the register, and you can also head over to our website. There are plenty of ways to donate to TLC. And before we get to Ms. Bianca, Neha, I want to ask what's a highlight over the past year, maybe, for TLC that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. So many things. I think one thing I'm really proud of is, speaking of collaborations, that's my favorite thing about TLC, and even this whole today's collaboration, Celeste's brilliant, this whole idea of these collaborations. So speaking of collaborations, we partnered with Chinook Fund, another really dope organization in our community, and we launched this fund called Another World is Possible. And this was in response to, initially COVID, but like really all the pandemics, right, that our communities are facing, including police and state violence and the economic collapse that's happening. And so we created this rapid response fund. In like a matter of like 3 months, we raised almost $400,000, or about 5 months, we raised $400,000, got that money out to like a shared group of organizations, TLC orgs and Chinook orgs, amazing, radical, grassroots, just doing amazing, beautiful work, mostly led by BIPOC folks, Black, Indigenous people, queer folks. And it's really the vision of the fund is that like in this moment, as all these systems and structures are crumbling, that we have the vision for another world, and we actually have like a unique moment to make it happen. So one of my favorite quotes is Arundhati Roy recently was like, the pandemic can be a portal, right, to a whole different paradigm, a whole different vision of society that we've been carrying and we've been holding. And there's actually an opportunity, even in all the destruction that's happening, for this other world. And so, so we launched this fund in that spirit, and it's just been a really beautiful project in collaboration. Again, instead of being like two separate organizations with different missions and, just like, we're independently going to raise money, we were like, let's just bring it all together, right? And Crystal and I were also in cohort 1 together. So it's about like, yeah, it's about leading with abundance and mutual aid and building that community. And like, we can't move in this individualistic way anymore. Like, that has failed. Like, white supremacist, patriarchal, individual, pull yourself up by your bootstraps is a complete failure. And we're watching that failure unfold in even crazier ways. So I just feel like it's all about that. It's all about collaboration. So it's perfect. This whole event is perfect.
And community, and you are at the forefront of that. Again, we are trying to raise $2,500 for TLC throughout this weekend here at Rosehouse. And Neha, it's so nice to meet you and like talk with you for TLC and Colorful Colorado collaborations. But we got some new music to get to.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk with Bianca Mikahn, our musical guest. Thank you, Neha, so much.
I love you too.
All right, Bianca. I don't even know where to begin with you, my love. You are everywhere. You are doing so many things in this community. And tonight we're blessed enough to be able to hear some of your music, among many other things that you do. Brand new single tonight.
Yes, it's a brand new single. It is out in the world.
And it is out in the world. Well, let's talk about.
Confident about that.
You feel confident. Me too. I'm glad we're here.
Myself a little bit.
It is happening. It is here. So tell me about a couple of the different hats that you do wear in this community, because in addition to being a musician, you're a poet, you're an educator, you're an activist, you're a fill in the blank.
Mom. I always forget to say mom in public because it's like, it's so important. I don't even do your business. But yeah, definitely. I ain't got the mom hustle shirt on tonight. But I learned the term from Ashara Ekundayo, like when I was first starting out of like artivist. That's who I think made it. If you know better, let me know. But I might fight about it. And it just encased everything that I had always thought about. I was just completely possessed about rhyming words since ever. And just art. I was in a very musical house, not necessarily playing music, like instruments, but just needing it. This is how you process. This is how you know yourself. You dance in front of the mirror, like me and my dad would dance, like. And so it was just known that music was needed, and it quickly became the only, like, my go-to for, it turns out I've always had anxiety. I've always had some form of extra existential awareness that some folks call depression. And those things would make me, like, not necessarily know how to process. But I could always grab my instrument. I play viola. I could always grab a pen and, like, furiously write. And then by the time I got to, like, the end of high school, I just realized that that was keeping me completely alive. And I immediately wanted to be like, hey, are y'all staying alive? Like, and I knew my school system had completely failed me, and was just like, this ain't it. I want to go make what's it. Like, nobody talked to me about how life-saving poetry can be for real. You know, I want to talk about that. I'm out here doing debate, you know, doing poetry interp, having to read somebody else's poem, and I'm carrying my book everywhere, you know. And then just quickly fell into it. I just went out looking for the people. I grew up in Westminster, so nobody was doing anything. I just ran down. I remember my dad took us to Juneteenth, and I walked into a building that was kind of confusing about what it actually did, and I saw these. When it's not set up, you know, I'm talking about Brother Jeffs, y'all. And Maurice knows this.
Where you met me.
Yes. It goes so far back. Oh my word. But I saw a picture of Sonia Sanchez, and people obviously doing poetry, and I was like, oh, bitch, poets be here? And, like, was just sold, and through there found different organizations that were using poetry the way that I wanted to, and had already been doing with my friend, like, Speech and Day, because Day's mom was a teacher. And so we could see, like, that was our first workshops. We're in APS, you know, in a middle school English class. And was just hooked. It was just, and through every hardship, all trauma, all depression episodes, it's the thing I could always show up for. You know, being creative with myself or others in order to make our lives better. Like, what else should we be doing? Except for maybe growing food. Like, at this point, it's like one of 5 things I'm interested in doing, and only a couple of those that I'm good at.
All right, so we have poetry coming to you, and, like, as a teenager, you're into music since forever. So tell me about blending the two, and also differentiating the two while you're creating them. Do you write poetry and then go, this is good here, or do you say, I need to evolve this more with music?
Such a good question. I don't get asked that often. No, I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wanted to be a rapper, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because I was from fucking Westminster. You know, I sound like this. And nobody in hip hop, especially femme, sounded like this. You know, you couldn't, it was New York or nothing, you know, like, or maybe some Cali vibes, but if you didn't come in dead ass, then you don't
didn't
get to
come
rap.
in.
So I wrote poetry because I was like, well, I need to be vocal. I have things I can't hold. I knew that from age 0 or whatever. Like, this has got to get out. I don't know what it is, and it's not all the way mine even. So I always wanted to be a rapper. I always wrote rhymes, but I didn't know how to spit them. And there's a lot of MCs like that. And it's purely repetition. You just got to keep trying. You just try it over and over. And so I was in the poetry scene, which is there's so many full circle things tonight, because, yeah, shit's deep. I was in the poetry scene. Y'all, I'm doing it. Maurice is one of the best writers.
Oh, not that, baby. Baby, not that.
Yeah,
it's about
okay.
You. Finish the interview. No, not that.
No, it's already out. I was trying to catch up to poets who were performing at that point, like Lady Speech and Maurice Ka and such. I'm just observing my life, which is my right, who were complete inspirations to me in the performance sense. But I was always annoyed with poetry for that. You know, it was kind of that academic, it's not dancing. It's still got all of these, like, rules that keep us rooted right here. We can't move with it, and I just needed that. I needed to be able to. And then there were things that I felt like were maybe too raw for poetry, or like I didn't want to say in that way. And then I connected with the crew, who is actually part of the crew that is streaming us tonight, or they're the founder of that crew, moved on. But met up with Gary Kennebrew and Nathan Reed from Mercury Sauce. And like some of their artists saw me at a mic and were like, yo, we should all connect. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things, you know, but they also wanted to do art. So, like, they actually wanted to do music, and I met, and like we went over, and it was my first time I saw like a professional grade home studio, and then made music money. It was my first music check. We were writing stuff, whatever, it got us checks. And from there, it was just like on. You know, then I was like, nope, I am definitely going to be a musician. The musician that I am, I'm definitely going to do this. I still remember the first song of theirs I tried to rap on, and they were like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. And just kept, but the process is different, definitely. I write more. Right now, I'm just now getting back to writing poetry from a flow space. I'm mean on the poems I have, but I usually write off commission now. And I'm just now getting to the point where I feel some things that feel like they need to go back to poetry. Because like music, and then that was so fun, you know, just be able to, and then when I started getting deeper into production, then that's so visceral, and I needed that. I was feeling things that were wordless, that there ain't a fucking sentence. There ain't a line. This is, you know, I need something just lo-fi growl in my ears right now, all day. And so it's just been this beautiful progression of like, as my needs for healing shift, then so do my tools, you know, and being kind of a tech head and into the production side has been so key. Hey, learn the tools, everybody, lyricists, I know, and it's so nice to be taken care of, man, you better learn them, because they totally saved my entire artistic life, you know.
I've seen you perform in a couple of different ways, a couple of different times, and I feel like it's very much an emotional experience every time. And just before we were getting set up here, you said that you had to change your set list kind of last minute. You said it and you were like, my emotions were telling me something different. So tell me a little bit more about that. You're very honest in your poetry readings and in your music. So tell me about how that may have to change throughout the day, even though you thought it was set.
Yeah, like it's hard to set lists before. Like if you are, and I love how much Neha talked about ritual, and that's something that COVID has really shown me. Like I am not as interested in releasing music as I am with, you know, connecting with the performance of it, with the moment that I saw this happen to us, you know, and I can feel it, and I'm addicted to that feeling of knowing, like, okay, there was electricity that connected in your brain, and it did a thing. You felt this. That is far more important to me. And if I'm gonna do that, it's the only thing I'm interested in, you know. And if I'm gonna do that, then I can't do that to be like, well, let me go try and dig over around what I'm feeling right now to this happy song I was gonna do tonight. Like, that's not authentic, you know, and I don't like performers that lie to me. It's fine to summon, you know, you don't always gotta be in that space or that, but that's something I get from the poetry world in part, where I'm like, I have watched some brilliant liars. Oh! Masterful liars, and it's devastating when you watch it, because you're like, you feel it, and you're like, you watch people's lives change, and you're like, I've seen you do that shit 50 times. I know, you know, I can tell when it's real for them and when it's not, because I've seen the difference, and like, I never want to do that. What are we doing if I'm doing that, you know? So the songs have to be where I'm at, or a place I want to go, so that I'm doing that. I'm not acting.
All right, well, I want to get to this very authentic performance coming up. But we've got this brand new single, and I want to talk about that just a little baby bit. So tell me a little bit about this brand new single out today in the world and here tonight on Colorful Collaborations.
Yeah, it's a single, and it's out on Colorful Colorado Collaborations. Woo, look at my nerves. It's the first song that I have produced that is out in the world for real. I produced a project before this that I didn't get to put out, In Right Relationship, and that was like hella traumatic for me. That shit hurt. And so it's been like a long time coming to make something from top to bottom. I made this. I'm definitely gonna cry about it. I made this whole thing at a time, and this song was like, you know, I'm Scorpio. I love my darkness.
Oh, happy Scorpio season, babe.
I'm stretching into it. And so this song, and I was writing it through the TLC cohort, so I was losing a music project that meant the world to me. And knowing that, and I did the math, I was newly single mom, fresh out of a gentrified program that I had to like take off into the night with, you know, politician came through and said, these are my stomping grounds. And I was like, oh, well, me and my little direct service are gonna go over here and die. And like stumbled my way into TLC. Like, what do I even? And they got me. And right before COVID, like me and Celeste talk about that a lot of like, yo, we all found each other right before this shit happened. Like, if that ain't clandestine, if that's not divine, then like, what are we even doing, right? And so within TLC, we were talking a lot about, you know, all of that, the trauma, family. I mean, we went there. And within that, you know, to also talk about manifestation and visioning, and I was looking a lot at my work and seeing things that I had said a year before they happened, and like shit that I lived into, and was like, okay, I need to be really careful about the songs I write now. Like, what do I want? And so this song was written when I was like completely breathless, more lonely than I ever understood was possible. And it was just like, you're fucking making it though. Like, look at you, you know? And then looking at my people around me like, and you're making it, and you're making it. And like, we're fucking here after, what is it, Audre Lorde? After everything that's come to kill us has failed. And it failed, and we're here, and we're still like glowing. And we're still right, man. We're right.
And we're here tonight. All right, we're going to take a short intermission, and then we're going to get to this performance from Bianca Mikahn here on Colorful Colorado Collaborations. Thank you, everybody. We'll take a short break.
Thank you, Bruce. wanna say now. Wonder what we need to say. Wonder what we need to say now. Wonder what we shouldn't say. Wonder what we shouldn't say now. Wonder what we'll never say. Wonder what we'll never say now. I read all the rhetoric and studied the etiquette. This is my second skin. I lost all my predicate. Tell me my heart is legitimate. Swallow the cinnamon. Choking is imminent. Fuck with my syndicate. My folk magnificent. My folk magnificent. Facts. Don't let your sisters get lit up. They let their sisters get lit up. We let our sisters get lit up. Don't let your sisters get lit. Wonder what we wanna say. Wonder what we wanna say now. Wonder what we need to say. Wonder what we need to say now. You're my most spirited pulpit. Always know I'll never forget. This water's bottlenecked. Feeling intolerant. Feeling like solving it. We're so involved and yet a million miles away. See, I don't wanna stand here and judge you, cause I'm just so different from you. Unless you threaten my life, that is. They let their sisters get lit up. We let our sisters get lit up. They let their sisters get lit up. Oh, say hey. Wonder what we wanna say. Wonder what we wanna say now. Wonder what we need to say. Wonder what we need to say now. I wonder what we shouldn't say. Wonder what we shouldn't say now. I wonder what we'll never say. Wonder what we'll never say now. They're important questions. Hey, thanks! There's people in the room with me. Shit is wild. That last joint was Glenn Sawyer Spot Studios. Let Glenn Sawyer from the Spot Studios bless your life, your musical dreams. And this joint right here, a lot of these are instructions, you know. Some things to check into. Everybody been talking about triggered. You triggered? Are you? Maybe so. Or are you uncomfortable? Those aren't the same thing. I'm just saying. It might matter right now. All of that is happening, maybe to be saved. All of this is happening, and some people ain't say. All of that is happening. We deserve to be saved. Yeah. All of that is happening. It's happening in your head. In your head. In your head. In your head. Say. If it don't fit them, babe, don't force it. Ain't no one afford them lawyers. And they Tommen and they Sawyers. Coded language in the foyers. Them gals all in the Senate. Call them Bennett cause they in it. Just go play your percentage cause these times is apprehensive. Mention that accomplishment. Don't pause for no acknowledgement. I'm the opposite, the offensive. Go get all of them. Shot calling a starter. Lead 6, get your heart up. Leveling the bar up. A charge we are a part of. Like all of that is happening, but maybe you're still safe right now. All of this is happening, and some people ain't safe. Focus. All of this is happening. We deserve to be safe. Yeah. All of this is happening. It starts right in our heads, where the love starts. In our heads, where the war starts. In our heads, what we will and will not accept. Say. I'm in this body, then again, maybe I ain't. They say waking is the dream, and our experience is fake. When I'm hugging on my baby, concede on my complaints. The way is looking grim, so I'll take what I could take. I'll take what I could take. Said I'll take what I could take. We can't wait for reparations, gotta save and break the pain. Just behave till you escape. Baby, we waiting on your face. If we can muster just a smile, then maybe the clouds will break. I break like feeling when you staring at them brake lights, wondering the pieces your heart breaks like feeling that you need to take a break like break like don't break like. Don't break, babe. I know. We here though for an entire reason. The season is ours. Just breathe deep and focus up. Like all of that is happening, but maybe you're still safe. Right? All of this is happening, and some people ain't safe. All of this is happening. We deserve to be safe. All of this is happening. It's happening in our heads. In our heads. In our heads. In our heads. It don't really make no forces. Can't no one afford the lawyers. And they coming and they saw ya. Code of language in the foyer. In your head. Hi. Hey. Hey, thanks. Unless it ain't right. That also happens. Sometimes it's just straight go time. Let's do this. Have fun. Another one from Glenn. Yo, but also, every time we talk about love, y'all think it's like love. And that's nice. I mean, Scorpio. But no, this is like, do you want to be fam? Are we going to make it through this as a community? Because, you know, folks got in my inbox like, is that about me? No, it's just about all of us. Everybody's worried about their mountain face, a piece of truth, running in the race, watching every other foot, notice every other root, grows a certain type of tree. Please see all these lifelines pushing out of me. From the grief comes the fruit, splitting seeds, planting cool, grow a garden, Hollywood. No, you wouldn't, but you could find your sacred. Let none touch it, take it. They want it, they mistake you for them flakes who don't mind breaking. Promise to leave. If you fall out of love with me, promise to leave. If you fall out pause like you're waiting. Pray while pacing, pace while praying. Past forsaken, get the plates of eggs and bacon. Vegans to get no placement when it comes to beef. Get some teeth for what we're facing. Even butchers piece you up like Jason. Deeper than the basement, rotten things once alive. Villains with the hero's eyes. Skin suits and skies, they'll never stop for the surprise. If you fall out of love with me, promise to leave, please leave. If you fall out of love with me, I'll say, friends, lovers, get under my covers, trust one another, cause it's all that we got. I said, friends, lovers, get under my covers, trust one another, cause it's all that we got. Pretty dark in here, don't you agree? Cause we need a spark in here. I'm dying to breathe, empire's vying to feed. Tile like leaves, colors turn on the trees. See the smoke in between, speed past highways. No lying, forget what we're trying. Said there's no lying. Leave. Fall out of love with me, promise to leave. If you fall out of love with me, I say, friends, lovers, get under my cover, just one another, cause it's all we got. I said, friends, lovers, get under my cover, just one another, cause it's all that we got. Bet that shit. Thank you. Oh, should we? I'm trying to see if there's any other softness in here. All right. Yeah, let's listen to this. I like this. I mean, I would. I made it. I like that. All right, just a thought. Vision in the future is a habit some ain't used to, cause they thought their life was ruined, and it leaves that focus truant. You know that I'm included, cause the truth is we're all foolish, but the youth is far from clueless. Keep the groove and steady moving. The vibe is all we got these days, and I know it's got you feeling sort of crazy. Fix your hand, cause we could all give play. You know the truth's the only thing that ever saved Cape made me. And I know, like you know, that there's no universal fact beyond gravity and death. Maybe love, if you know where that's at, might be safer to just go build up your stack. As a matter of fact, that shit's the fact of the matter. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's just the fact of the matter. What happens when your chance passes? All master slaves of those classes, all flashing the taste of those patterns. Wait for those flashes, they taking pics. Quick, once for the publicist, smile in the direction where the judges sit, the jury quick, the bailiff sits, it's just us and the whips. Speed away and I'll be quick. They don't hate me, it's just when debating, we take things to breaking. Said all news is quaking with the latest, said they just feeling aimless cause everything been changing. Hating all the faking, no end to break. Pacing and the waiting and the waiting and the pacing. 2 parties and elections is a game, it's dangerous. My life is worth your patience. My life is worth your focus. My life is worth your effort. and the pain has to fall on them. They offer voices, nobody's calling them. We have pieces, still demand all of them, all of them, all of them. If you could fly, tell me where would you go? Making a bird, I've been missing my home. So many skies and not one of them. Oh, don't none of us know. And they'll never stand up, but they'll never back up. They'll never jump up. Can't afford to break. Our life is worth more and more. If this is life, right? We'll do two more. Cause I can't just leave you to your night like that. You'll be like, shit. Guess you should drink about it? I don't know. But we were talking about, I forget if it was here or wherever. I believe in us so much. Not all of us. But like the collective us so much. I think if we attach to each other, it doesn't matter what a whole country does. It doesn't matter much. Oh no, I gotta wait. I gotta wait. Hush your face. Don't do it. There she is. Okay. So I got this one and another one for y'all. Oh, let's pick that up, baby. She's sweet, but she gave me a little bit faster. Because if it was supposed to be like this and it wouldn't hurt so bad, I think that if it were natural to us, then it would make sense. So I believe. leaving. Hey, thank you. I made that one. I love it. I love that I made something I like to dance to. I'm big on dancing. I did a bit of that, and I will continue to do that. Yes, thank you. I know these beats be all over the place, huh? This is a song that I made that exists in the world. It's called The Truth, and I'm pretty sure it's medicine, and I'm very thankful to share it with you. It's on Bandcamp right now. Pay $1 million for it. 'Cause why not? But it's really dedicated to like TLC and my babies and Celeste and Set 2 and speaking on my people and like us making it. I don't know what you about to do. I'll make it. Say a thing about yourself. Come on, baby, show and prove. You've been living close to hell, and I'm proud you made it through. There's no way that they can know all the horrors that you knew, and you're still able to smile. Don't tell me you ain't the truth. Seems like everyone's been crafting vendettas, but my soul's never been better. Crazy what the girls can get us. Let them twist the letters and make up words. Can't stop silly shit from being absurd, and I ain't hurting no more cats. Let them wander where they may. Focus on the bag, watching my baby play. Let the chips all fall. Call them free to lay where they land, 'cause my stand, I'm demanding peace today. We all know what we came here for. Here's all from the madness. You could use some magic. Lucky babe, I have it, yeah. Smile that handcrafted, yeah. I'm lambasting sadness in it. It's everlasting life, like a gator with a smooth glide through. Your magic fake, but mine deceives by you. Try to hide you from this idol, but the hearts with the rivals. I'm like you, except way different. You listen to fake women, take wisdom, I'll stole what they given. And I'm much more than children, I can slip in. A portal like magicians right in front of all our eyes. Bodies just a veil, smiles to the skies. You know the Nile's run too wide, but I don't cry if I don't want to. Haunt you, no, got my own things that I'm going through. Said I'm going through, said I'm going through. 'Cause that's what I heard you're supposed to do. When you're committed to survival and thriving, and I finally am. Say amen. Say a thing about yourself. Come on, baby, show and prove. You've been living close to hell, and I'm proud you made it through. There's no way that they can know all the horrors that you knew, and you're still able to smile. Don't tell me you ain't the truth. Don't tell me you ain't the truth. Don't tell me you ain't the truth. I wouldn't even believe you. Ain't that a part of colonization? There's that. I did the things. Thank you, Colorful Colorado Collaborations. TLC Rosehouse.
Doesn't matter. That's it. That's our collaboration. That's our performance. We collaborated. We're gonna. Thank you to everybody who has made this possible. This is our season finale of Colorful Colorado Collaborations. Got to thank everybody who has made this possible. Tonight, Bianca Mikahn, Rosehouse Botanicals with Maurice. Thank you so much. Also, TLC, who we are raising funds for throughout the weekend to come and donate right here at Rosehouse. We're trying to raise $2,500. We want to thank Celeste Martinez, my co-founder. Also, got to thank the boys that have been doing our AV the entire time. Also, Carson Holloway doing our photos, and we have so much more. We'll be back for season 2 in 2021, and I think I got to go sit down after that performance. So. Thank you very much.